Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO44 coming at you another video. All right, so this isn't necessarily independent Laker talk because I'm just kind of listening to everybody else and chiming in. So these are topics I'm snatching from just about everywhere in regards to trades. So I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged because some of the rumors that are going around are some of the things that I would be fine with. I think most of the Laker Nation is looking for the Lakers to make a big move. Well, the things that the Lakers said they want to do, getting Bradley Beal's contract, Zach LaVine's contract. You know what I mean? That's probably what Laker fans are expecting. But I don't think that's what is probably going to be best for the team, both in the balance of long term and short term. What's probably best for our team is to try to acquire as much um, tradable talent as possible. Anything that we can retrade, anything that we can expect to keep or want to keep, someone we would expect to be able to resign. I think continuity in the presence of having limited assets is probably the best way to find yourself going because we have too much turnover on our team. We've had LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and then we've had a plethora of different role players from each year to each year just switch up, swap around, sometimes without any real reason to it. Guys that have played well for us that just aren't getting paid by us for some reason. Guys who, uh, you know what I mean, we should probably try to retain. I just think that in this era we're in, it's time to rethink how we handle those things and maybe try to make sure that we keep what we have more so than try to bring in something new. That's going to be difficult to manage. Guys that are going to be attached to contracts that are outstanding, and that'll make it even more difficult for us to find role players that can do anything. So, the deals that I'm hearing about, they provide me encouragement in regards to that because I'm hearing a guy like Cam Reddish can be got for 2 second-round picks, which I can understand maybe the hesitation based on what it is that he's proven in this league, but not based on what it is that he's capable of. That's a very good value for his piece. And I believe if there are no mental challenges in the way or social challenges in the way in this world, then Cam Reddish is just an opportunity away from being a very good role player at the very least. His height, his length, his skill set on both sides of the floor is a no-brainer at all. It's nothing to think about. It's nothing to talk about. It's just about who can give him an opportunity and whether or not those things that could be a problem are in place in the way of him performing. And I do not know. But given the fact that he's had issues in two places and the Knicks couldn't wait to get him and immediately got him and couldn't use him, makes me wonder if there's something going on. Could it be his health as well? Could it be something that we don't know about? Whatever the case may be, the fact that he hasn't had an opportunity to stick somewhere is a bit discouraging. But I also look at those two places and I say, well, they don't need him. We do. As it pertains to his profile, what it is we think he can do, the opportunities that he's never had in this league would come as soon as he puts on the uniform. Now, whether or not he performs under those circumstances, entirely up to him. But the opportunities to play meaningful basketball night to night is here for Cam Reddish. As to where I can't say it's there in New York, and I definitely could not say it was there in Atlanta. So at this point, what I like to choose to look at in regards to Cam Reddish is how he came back from injury. When he initially came back from a very long injury that had him out for almost a year, he initially came back and performed at an extremely high level, fresh off of that injury. He took a half to get back on the court. They let him play in the second half of his first game back. And in the very next game, he completely went off. That's not normal, especially for somebody who had literally never had an opportunity before. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the first time you see him, really, with the exception of maybe his preseason days and up until the point where he got injured, which was like early rookie season. And then he's out for a long time and comes back and is one of the best players on the floor for a playoff team. And then proceeds to have a huge role in playoff games. Well, I remember him scoring a bunch of points in a playoff game that same season, fresh off injury. So it's like, for me, in the very tiny sample size, he's already proven. Based on what I needed to see to see if he's someone I'd want to invest in, already proven. I already seen enough. He would have already been here if it was up to me. So what I want the Lakers to do is assess if the price tag makes sense based on the facts. And if it does make sense, then that should be something we do before the trade deadline. And I know he's not necessarily worth 2 second-round picks based on what he's proven. But that's what I'm saying. Based on what the facts actually are, needs to determine whether or not we would be willing to pull a trigger on that. Facts that I do not have. But as far as I can tell, he's worth 2 second-rounders. Based on what it is I've seen him do in Atlanta, fresh off injury, for a playoff team. Okay, so that's the first thing I'm going to say. And that was a year and a half ago. So it wasn't recent. And he hasn't played a lot of games since then, but I don't know that he's been injured at all since then. I don't know. So like I said, the facts would have to determine things. But this is a young player who was only drafted 4 years ago. He's a high-level player who's had motor questionability. Even when he was drafted, it was a question about his motor because he was coming out of Duke, and they didn't really have a role for him. And when they did play him, he was tend to be a spot-up shooter. So this is someone, even in college, who wasn't actually featured for what it is he can do. When you talk about somebody who's literally never shown what he's able to do, this guy has never, ever been able to show what he can actually do. But we have the role. And he has the skills. Because not only is he gifted on the offensive end, but he's also gifted on the defensive end. And this is what I understand. So as far as us getting Cam Reddish, I'm of the mindset that the Knicks shouldn't be getting rid of Cam Reddish. That's what I'm here to tell you. Forget us. The Knicks are making a mistake letting him walk. Just like I said, the Celtics did, the Nuggets did with Bol. I'm telling you, somebody needs to just sit here and just understand what Brandon is saying. Cam Reddish is real. So whoever has him is going to be happy they have him so long as no problems are in place that would keep him from performing. But even if there were problems in the way of him performing, I would caution everybody to pay attention to what's going on with Markelle Fultz right now. Because Markelle Fultz is starting to play like Markelle Fultz. The Markelle Fultz he was drafted to be with the second overall pick? Yes. He's playing like that now. He just had 6 steals in a game ago. This dude is starting to come around for an Orlando Magic team that's full of talent. So what I'm telling you is, whoever gave up on Markelle Fultz, which is everybody over the last 5 years, they messed up. Because now he's about to be something, and that's something that's going to be a problem, even after all the injuries. So it's like, look, I'm ahead of that as it pertains to Cam Reddish. I already know what he can do. And there's a million other players around this league who I'm pretty certain if we give them an opportunity, they have a chance to become something for us too. He's just one. So I think if we can go get him for a price that makes sense, maybe giving away 2 second-round picks might keep you from being able to get another one of those players, right? Because if you get one for 1 second-round pick, you may be able to get another for a second-round pick, and that's something that you got to consider as well, is not being married to just one upside talent like Cam when you can consider there about 8 or 9 of them I can think of off a rip. But at the same time, it's like that's what the Lakers need to be doing, getting wings that have that type of cachet, that have no role. And another one that I've been screaming on this camera for the last couple of months, I'm starting to hear other people starting to mention his name too. So that's what I'm encouraged by. I heard Kareem from the Kareem Report mention that Darius Bazley was somebody that the Lakers were considering. I'm like, finally. That tells me that people are looking at the same stuff I'm looking at, or maybe even hear what I'm saying. Excuse me. So that's encouraging. And Darius Bazley is a young, probably around somewhere between 23 and 26-year-old wing who specializes in rebounding the ball. Excuse me. When he's given real minutes, he's a lob threat, wing, 3. He's a 3, a small forward, power forward combination with a lot of upside. He's had some injuries, but he also has a lot of natural athleticism. He's one of them dudes that can get in a dunk contest and do something. So he's an electrifying player. He's a wing that you can play somewhat positionless depending on what his skill set will allow, but more so you want to see him play the 4. I think at the absolute worst, what you're acquiring is somebody like Wesley Johnson. We remember Wesley Johnson. He made a lot of mistakes for us, but he was also very, very athletic and made some really nice highlight plays when his thinking cap was on. You know what I mean? He was a limited player, but what I do remember was his effortless athleticism and how his wing length and ability was able to assist our team back then. Well, that's what I look at Darius Bazley at the very worst. If he's his absolute worst, he can give us some of that. And at his best, we can develop him into a real player. He's somebody who's always been able to play, always been able to do some good things. 2 or 3 years ago, the year we won the championship, he had a real role with OKC and was able to actually show what he could actually do. So that would be the year I'd tell everybody to go back and study if you want to know what I think of Darius Bazley's upside. Go check the year 2019-2020 season. And that was when he was actually really in rotation for OKC before they drafted all these guys and went in different directions and stuff like that. Buried him on the bench behind other people. And that's when a guy's career can go left or right, when it really just comes down to an organization that needs him saying, yo, give me him. Just like we did with Stanley Johnson, rekindled his career. Everybody thought he was done. Yo, we needed him, brought him here, and he did what we needed him to do. Trevor Ariza, the same thing. So it's one of those things where it's like I look at Darius Bazley, I'm like, we can rekindle his whole career because we are the team that he needs to be on. We need him to do what he does for us. He'll pretty much come in and do some Max Christie stuff. Look to rebound the ball, play some lengthy defense, be a lob threat, be good in open court. I don't know that his 3-point shot's any good. I'm not going to sit up here and claim that he can shoot the three. I don't remember. But it's more so about what he can do for you just in the open court as a wing and then crashing the glass and possibly blocking some shots as well. So for me, it's like when you consider having, these small ball lineups that we like to run and having positionless basketball, Cam Reddish and Darius Bazley, you can just put those two players on this roster and you can see our team get significantly better immediately. Now, Wenyen Gabriel, you have to move him around a little bit more. JTA probably moves out the way. But you're starting to see opportunities where your team has more length, more options to go big, more opportunities to be even more lethal in the open court, more opportunities to provide Russell Westbrook another lob threat, an easy assist target. LeBron James, same thing. And somebody to help defensive situations. You know what I mean? It's like a guy like Darius Bazley ain't going to cost you a whole lot because he's not playing a whole lot. So right now his value's on the floor. Now, granted, if the OKC decides they want to start playing him tomorrow and they decide to feature him for the next 3 weeks, his value's going to go up. And then you'll wish you went and did what I told you to do right now. It's like we're always looking for guys who are being featured. Let's get Bogdanovich. No, don't get Bogdanovich. Why you don't get Bogdanovich? Because they're doing the opposite of him that is being done with Darius Bazley. Bogdanovich is getting all the shots. He's getting all the looks. They are foregoing good opportunities to win basketball games because they're trying to make him look like a star right now so they can trade him. Because they don't care about winning. They're trying to tank and they're trying to get the most for the players that they have on their roster. So it's like, if you understand what the Pistons are doing, you ain't paying for nothing the Pistons got. Because they are featuring their players so that their value can be high. Give me somebody that's being hidden on the back of the bench so their value's low so I can get them. You feel me? So it's like the Lakers are afraid to take chances. And I'm like, this is the only way to play. Even when you're in our position, it's the only way to play. We're reaching for the wrong stuff. That's why we can't get what we need. If the Lakers were willing to take chances and look with the intent to develop players instead of looking for large contracts, the trade market would open up immediately. Because the market for the Lakers is not the market they're shopping in. And that is the elephant in the room. If you know who you are, you know what you can get. You get what you can get and you make it work. We're doing the opposite. We're trying to work from a position of having no leverage whatsoever and then asking for stuff that is unreachable in nature. And the market is reacting accordingly. But if you reach for the stuff you're supposed to be reaching for, then the market is going to react fine to you. It's like that's another thing. It's like people do understand that the market is reacting to who you exactly are. Like I don't think teams really understand that. Like the Lakers market is locked up. It's because they're reaching for stuff they have no business reaching for. You know what I'm saying? Literally. But if they just look in the mirror, see who you are, see what your situation is, look at what you should be doing for yourself to bring yourself what you should be needing on average, if you just stop being the Lakers and just be the team that you are as it pertains to your record and what you've proven, just look at yourself as Team A rather than the almighty Lakers. And Team A is several games below 500 with such and such players on deck, and they have to move accordingly. So it's like the Lakers are acting as if they're not themselves because they have the Los Angeles Lakers name, and as a result, they can't get nothing done. So it's like, look, if we start reaching for the stuff that we can obtain, which is stuff that is not being seen, we'll get the stuff we need, and then we'll be the team that guys blow up wearing our uniform, and then we can trade them for 3 and 4 times what we got them for, and then voila, that's how you get rich. That's literally how you get wealthy in the NBA. It's not reaching for stuff that everybody's already made plump. It's finding something that's nothing and turning it into some. That is all I'm asking the Lakers to do. That's it. And the concept is so very clear to me because there's so many unproven players around the league that they're only unproven because everybody's doing things wrong. It's not because they have proven themselves to not be good players. It's because everybody's playing politic ball and letting good talent sit on the wayside, sit on their bench. And so if you're smart enough to know that that's the dynamic, then you can pick each and every one of those players off of each and every one of these teams, bring your own team together and kill all of them by being smarter. And that's exactly what I'm asking the Lakers to do. And then it inflates everything that you have because now it's harder to get rid of Anthony Davis for a little price because it's like, yo, I don't need to trade Anthony Davis. I got a bunch of backups. If he never misplays another game, we're still a championship caliber team because I found this guy for $1 million. I found that guy for $2 million. And what are the Lakers doing? Finding this guy for $1 million, filling that guy in the second round. It's what we're good at. ironically enough. If our front office gets the heck out of the way and realizes something that's very, very key. What the Lakers need to be doing is actually something they're very, very good at. How is it that we don't realize that? Our scouts are excellent at finding the Carusos and the various players like that can come into our situation at little to no price. Max Christie. Look at Thomas Bryant and how he's balling on $1 million contract. This is what our team is good at. And it's what we need to do. If not for the presence of a middleman organizational front office that just has a delusional idea about how best to go about things. If they just get that out the way, you realize the team can fix itself just by being itself. And so that's what I'm trying to encourage our front office to do. Get out of the way, fire everybody that's telling us to do anything, and let the scouts bring to the Lakers what the Lakers actually need to be brought to itself, which is talent that can be found out of nowhere and developed here and traded for a bunch more. So that is obvious in nature. I don't think it's that difficult to do because these players are everywhere. I'm looking at a guy like Peyton Pritchard in Boston. Value much lower than what he's going to be. Regardless of what you get him for, you can turn him into something else because they're not playing him enough out of necessity. Book night. I know these are guards, but this is just examples. Guys that are on my mind. Same thing in Charlotte. He's buried behind 100 guards. What's going to happen if he gets to a team and they play him a bunch of minutes? He's going to show you that he's nearly an all-star. And then people are going to be like, oh my God, the breakout Book night. Oh my God, he's so good. It's like, yeah, but he was good before that. It was just that nobody had minutes for him. And if people would have just looked at what he was giving you in college and then realized he was drafted somewhere that literally never plays him, you would understand that there's nothing not to like. Just get him and put him on your team, play him, and see what he can do with the minutes. Scottie Pippen, a player on my team. Scottie Pippen Jr., our kid. He can do that. He can do that. He's a player. I'm telling you, I think the dude can average a double-double because I've seen what he can do in limited minutes. And I know how much velocity he plays with and how strong he plays and how fast he wants to play and how infectious that speed is on my team based on Russell Westbrook doing the same thing. So I know this rookie could be one of the top rookies in the league if we just played him every night like he actually has some talent. Now, we're going to play him like that 3 years from now, and he's going to break out, and everybody's going to be surprised. And I'm telling you could have did it now. Jalen Smith in the finals 3 years ago with Phoenix. I'm telling you, that kid could have helped the Phoenix Suns possibly win some extra games in the finals. But they were playing him like he was a little kid, and now he's in Indiana breaking out, showing everybody what he probably could have did 3 years ago in limited minutes if they just would have played him. They needed him. And they didn't play him, and they lost in the finals, and nobody's going to remember that. Nobody's even going to know that. But BDF44 is telling you they had a power forward, and they needed one. They didn't use one. Why? Because of some middleman ideology that keeps teams from doing stuff that helps themselves. And so this is what I'm trying to normalize, moving out of the way. And I want us to continue to look for these discount price players and these rookies that these teams can't do nothing with. It's 1 million of them. And we name them all the time. And second-year guys and third-year guys that are supposed to be scrubs and busts and all of this. But if you just look at what they gave you in college and then look at the situation they were drafted in and see how the team is running players they got no business playing and old guys been on the team for 100 years still getting minutes. It's like, when the heck did dude ever get a chance to show what he can do? Look at his coach. His coach ain't even thinking about him. His coach is thinking about the first 9 guys on the roster. He ain't even thinking about that rookie. You feel me? So it's like this idea that people aren't supposed to be looking at the back of these benches because in the old NBA, the back of the bench was no good. And it's like, well, no, if everybody looks around at what's actually happening, the back of the bench ain't getting played. And people haven't realized that it's a new day and they're still thinking like the old NBA. So you have a plethora of talent on the back of every damn bench in the NBA. Every bench has a dope star level talent that just needs someone to believe in them and give them minutes. And I'm telling you, half of these teams don't even know who they have. They don't even know. They have some of these players overpriced, not because they know what they have, but because everybody's overpricing everything. Like, bro, I'll tell you right now, I would fleece all these teams because I would be reaching for players, and then I would be looking to actually attract the players that are the throw-ins. That's how I would be going for every trade possible. I'd be like, give me such and such and such and such. Knowing I can't get him. I can't get him. Nah, I can't get him. All right, let's do this, and this. Y'all doing too much. All right, how about this? You give me James Bouknight, right? Because that's what I really want. And then we do this. Go back and forth on that, land James Bouknight. I got what I wanted. I don't care whatever else happened. I just made sure it wasn't too bad for me. I got what I wanted. That's how I need my GM to be thinking. Not give me Zach LaVine. Not hell no, I don't need Zach LaVine, bro. I need to find Zach LaVine before he turns into anybody anyone knows. That's what I need to do. I need to find him before he becomes himself. I'm looking for the next Kevin Porter Jr. Back when he was in Cleveland throwing food at people. That's what I'm looking for. Because I know if I get enough of them dudes, I'm winning a championship. I'm passing the whole league up. While they're looking for Wembanyama and looking to pay him $300 million, I'm going to be finding somebody who can give me $300 million worth of talent at $50 million. And we're going to win, too. A lot. I'm going to run right past y'all league. While y'all too busy trying to figure out P.J. Tucker and Jay Crowder can still play, I'm going to find the next one. Telling you, man, I'll run past the league. I promise you. The way my mind works, I run circles around these people in this era, bro. We'd be dispersed. Just give me enough. Give me a foundation. Give me the scientists around who can help me with my cap and tell me what's possible, what's not. We get it done. Because I don't believe in reaching for old stuff, and I'm not afraid to take chances on players that may not work. Why? Because if they ain't no good, I send them straight to my G League. Bring up some other guys. Give me a 1-year talent, $1 million guy at that point. When my book night bus, fine. What did he cost me? A second round pick? What did he cost me? And what's the definition of the bus? He's not playing well right now? Get him in better shape. Keep running him. Put him in a different position. Trade him away. But the point is, I have an asset that I got nothing for. If it didn't work out and it fell flat, how much I really pay for it? Nothing. You get you a guy like, Bradley Beal, and he busts his knee open. How much that cost you? Huh? Now your team's doomed. But I'm telling you right now, a guy like Bradley Beal, he's a fantastic player, but don't be certain that a player that's better than him ain't in the second round right now. Waiting for somebody to give him an opportunity so he can take that hunger and turn it into excellence. That's all it takes. I'm looking at guys all over the Pacer bench. They got a bunch of dudes on that Pacer bench. Now everybody's paying attention to Nembhard and paying attention to some of the other dudes. What's the other dude's name? Naismith. They're starting to have other players on the Pacers breaking out. Duarte's still there. Anybody remember him? Lakers need to go get him. He's an older rookie from last year. I think he had played a 4-year career somewhere, just like Josh Hart. And he got drafted to the Indiana Pacers, balled out in his rookie season, but then got hurt. And then they started drafting more guards in front of him. So it's like he's getting pushed back right now. This is the time to go get him. He's excellent. He's an excellent player. He immediately comes in and balls all the way out for you in your second unit. Immediately. I'm telling you, I know who can play in this league. I put together a hell of a squad, y'all. A bunch of dudes you ain't never heard of. A ball for my squad. I promise you. I know what they can do. It ain't even hard to tell. Some of these dudes are just stuck in bad situations. Unfortunately, the ones that come to mind are undersized guards, and that's another thing. It's like you're in a league where they look at certain things and they say he can't do it because he's undersized. I'm looking at Wenyen Gabriel be misevaluated as a talent because he's an undersized 5 and a traditional 4. So it's like there's certain plays you don't want to run with Wenyen Gabriel. We saw it last night where, they tried to get him some type of curl situation where he was driving at the basket with the ball on the floor. Couldn't do it because that's not his game. He can't, you know what I mean? But if you put him in positions to do things that he can do and keep it simple for him, he's going to be excellent within that wheelhouse. And a lot of that stuff is very simple stuff that you need done on the basketball floor anyway. Just don't run stuff for him to do that he cannot do. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be fine, but it's one of those situations where it's like they're always looking for somebody who can do more, but they don't have the fundamentals of a guy like Wenyen, so he going to get the stop on them. I can't tell you how many times I've seen guys with bigger cachet go up and win against Wenyen Gabriel, and he gets a stop. Because he's just more fundamentally sound in keeping himself straight up and down. He gets active hands and puts himself in positions to help in situations where it's necessary. It's like, if the Lakers are reaching for contracts for guys who can prove they can score 50 and 60 points, but we don't have 30 shots to give them, and they're not good at the little stuff that Wenyen's good at, then how much better are we actually getting? You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about. We're bringing people to us that can underachieve, and then we're not evaluating people properly because of stupid stuff. Stuff that ain't got nothing to do with what you're looking at. Like, bro, if y'all paying attention, Wenyen Gabriel should probably never leave the floor for the Los Angeles Lakers. He should be getting like 35 minutes a game. Because he's not making nothing. He's young. He runs like the wind, and he gets stops on every play, and he scores on just about every possession we need him to. And he helps with different situations that help the big guys, the stars, with the things that they're not good at. So why does he ever leave the floor? You know what I'm saying? It's like these are things that I'm looking at. I'm like, bro, this is common sense if you're thinking about basketball. Now, if you think about the business of basketball and whether or not he signed a clutch or whether or not he's going to be able to sell some shoes or something, yeah, you're not going to win nothing. But if you understand what the hell's good for your team, then as I said, he's going to play about 35 minutes a game. And you're not going to run nothing that he can't run because you know it's not going to be successful. You know what I mean? These are things like, all right, people make the game of basketball more difficult than I think it has to be based on how they want to see the game played right now. 3-point shots. You're not going to get blown out if everybody's shooting 100 3-point shots because they're not going to make but 20 of them. 9 out of 10 times they shoot too many of them, they're going to miss. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then it's going to be harder rebounds, easier transition buckets. You probably won. But it's because everybody wants to match up with the shooters that they afraid to do stuff that kind of caters to kind of attacking that. You know what I mean? In a way that may be unorthodox, but doesn't necessarily have you shooting the ball a bunch of times. So it's like, I think that's what our team is. We are that. We don't shoot a bunch of times. We have enough shooting at this point to where we don't find ourselves a deficient 3-point shooting team, but we know we shouldn't shoot more than 35 threes a night. We know that. But in the same breath, it's like the Lakers seem to be trying to reach for guys that can shoot 7 and 8 threes. It's like, that's going to change the entire dynamic of what you've built, right? You're going to go get you a Bradley Beal and Zach LaVine. This dude going to jack up 7 to 8 threes. That's 7 or 8 possessions that you're signing up to basically have go one way or another. It's like, for what? How much that contract going to cost you? No. The Lakers are doing things absolutely backwards. And now, what I'm hearing in regards to the rumors, I feel like I'm being listened to. I feel like people are starting to understand the concepts of what it is I've been screaming into this camera every day. I ain't doing this for nothing. I want people who are in position to hear what I'm saying. Look for the discount. Look for the discount. Look for the player that's unproven. And embrace the unknown in regards to whether or not he's going to turn into something for you. Because the odds of him turning into something for you based on the current environment is very, very high, man. It's not like it's a sea of bad players out there who everybody has it right about and they ain't playing them. No, it's the opposite. It's the absolute opposite. So this is the time to be an expansion team. This is the time to have a blank canvas and go shopping. You know what I mean? And leave all that expensive, high value. As soon as it leaves the lot, it's going to lose the value stuff on the shelf. The Bradley Beals, the Zach LaVines, the Bogdanovich, all of that needs to stay where it's at. I kid you not. And I know it's a lot of people screaming for Bogdanovich. I listen to somebody I respect very much. JJ Redick's making the case the Lakers need to bring him in for a fit. I respect it, but I also know what he's going to give me. I also know where he's at and what they're doing there. See what I'm saying? If that's who he was in Indiana and in Sacramento and now in Detroit, I'd be like, for sure, that's an all-star player. He's always been like that. That ain't who he is. I remember who he was in Indiana, year 3, year 4, year 5. I know who he is. He's consistent. We've talked about this a lot. He's one of the most consistent Groundhog Day guys in the game. You feel me? And he's gotten a lot better with shooting, so he's definitely somebody who can help our team. But for his price tag, and you have to renegotiate with him next year, and he's going to want a inflated amount, no. So that we can have a good enough fit this year. If it don't lead absolutely to a championship, you give away a first-round pick for him? Boy, you done failed again. You done did that Patrick Beverley, THT, Stanley Johnson trade all over again. Knowing it ahead of time, because I'm telling you that now, if we do it, that's exactly what it is. But you're going to do it anyway. And didn't I tell y'all that that's what it was with Patrick Beverley too? I said it before we did it. I made a video about that 2 or 3 weeks before we even did it when I first started hearing trade rumors about it, telling you that was a bad idea. That you do not trade young talent and role player pieces that you can use for an old guy. That's 100% the worst way to do things in the NBA, and we did it anyway. And this Bojan Bogdanovich thing is getting a lot of traction, and I'm telling you, no, he's a hell of a player when featured and given all the shots. If he's going to be your 4th and 5th player, you're going to ask him to shoot 3 threes a night. That's about it. You're going to be in the corner, Bojan, hit the shot. He's going to roll a couple ankles here and there, may not be available nights we need him. What is he doing defensively? How is he contributing to what it is that we really have issues with, which is being a good defensive team? No, that's not what you're giving up a first-round pick and potentially not being able to resign what you bring back for. That's not what you're doing that for. And let me amend that by saying he did sign an extension, and we have reported on that, so that's not true. He is extended. But to what extent, I'm not sure what that contract looks like, how that fits in our books, and why we would want to put that on the tab when we know what it is that the dynamic I'm saying is true. I don't think we should want that. But the fact that he is on extra years, I have to amend that, make that clear. But nevertheless, it's like, dude, I don't want him for extra years, expiring, none of that. Because at the end of the day, I don't think that this is what I'm bringing him to do. What he's doing right now in Detroit ain't what he's going to be doing when he come to LA, man. Not with this role. And if AD's still going to be going down and Bron's still going to be coming in and out of the lineup, guess what? It's going to be him and Russell Westbrook. You think that's going to get us over the hump? That's another thing. It's like if the piece that we're bringing in doesn't do something for our future, in the fact that it ain't going to get us over the hump, then what's the point? If I'm bringing in Bazley and I'm bringing in, Cam Reddish, I'm thinking about them dudes being a part of the unit way after Bron and AD gone. Bojan Bogdanovic, he's like 3 years younger than me, dude. He about to retire. How the hell are we doing that? Like, that's another thing. We look at a guy like Bradley Beal. As soon as his contract's over, we expect him to probably either sign one more year, farewell tour. He should be gone, man. He's on his way out. The injuries, histories that he has, I don't think he's going to be playing much longer in this contract. So it's like, what are we really signing up for, man? I just know better. I know exactly what the Lakers need. We need to do exactly what we've been talking about for the last 30 minutes. And get as many of those young players on this team unproven as possible. Surround them with the best core we got, which is Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And see, that's another thing. You got the core of Anthony Davis and LeBron James to provide that guys for you while you're trying to figure out all these young players that are good. You know what I'm saying? That core is in place. And it's definitely not going to be something that's sturdy. So if guys are inconsistent, it's blame it on the core. Just like y'all like to pass the buck on everything else, blame it on AD and Bron. Book night didn't turn into nothing because AD and Bron ain't consistently on the floor. I'm just saying, if everybody needs an excuse instead of wanting to take on responsibilities or accountability for what it is they've done, this is the out. It'd be the out I use if I had that mentality. It's their fault. It's their fault Bazley and Reddish ain't ball out. Not mine. So that's what you need to be doing, Lakers. That's exactly what you need to be doing, man. I like the rumors of Bazley. I like the rumors of Reddish for 2 second-round picks. I think that that's something that we should study. Study that. Ignore all the other stuff that we're rumored to do. All the stuff that ESPN wants us to do is going to tank us. They want to tank us. If anybody's clueless about that, the Lakers are a very fun team to cover when they suck really, really bad and everybody's in shambles. That's really good content. So you best believe that the big networks would love that very much. The Lakers being a crap show is definitely not a crapshoot. That's certified money. Okay? So that's pretty much what I got to say about that, man. We need to combat all of this nonsense and ineptitude and loser mentality and fun guy crap. We ain't none of that. We are the Lakers. This is the house of Mamba. And I am tired of the ineptitude and the stupidity and the loser mentality stuff and the reaching for bad stuff to make us worse, even though we know what it looks like. We're just going to do it anyway because that's just, I don't know. There's nothing else to even say in regards to that. You don't do that. So that's what we're going to speak against. My name is BDF44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.